Gene Wolfe's Book of the New Sun is an epic tale of science fiction masquerading as medieval fantasy. It spans 4 books: The Shadow of the Torturer, The Claw of the Conciliator, The Sword of the Lictor, and The Citadel of the Autarch. Less well known outside the science fiction and fantasy community, the Book of the New Sun has a fervent following within it. Little surprise then that the Folio Society's 2019 4-volume limited edition offering was snapped up in no time, and now commands a vertigo-inducing price premium on the secondary market. For those of us who wish to dip a toe in the water rather than dive in head first, the Folio Society issued a standard edition 2 years later. It's this 2021 standard edition that I'll be looking at here. The limited edition's 4 cloth-bound books have been compressed into 2 quarter-bound volumes with printed paper sides. Each volume is chunky, a little over 500 pages, but manageable for laptop reading. Fortunately, we don't miss out on any of the limited edition's cover art because the designs from each of the LE's 4 volumes are printed on the front and back boards of the standard editions too. Those images are by the illustrator Sam Weber and comprise bold graphic designs in primary colours. They're striking and a little bit unsettling, which makes them a good thematic match for the books. The spines of both volumes are black cloth blocked in red with the author's name, abbreviated titles, and the Folio Society colophon. The top edge of the text block is stained black to match. The volumes come together in a black slipcase with a silver foil design that borrows iconography from the book. I've seen reports online that bemoan quality control issues with these books. My own personal experience has been problem-free, with one exception, which is that some of the stain from the top edge of the text block has in places bled down onto the page surface. Inside we find the text is printed on Yulong pure paper. This is a smooth stock whose brilliant white might be a bit overpowering for some, but it has good opacity and presents the text clearly. The text is set in Jensen with priori serif display. It has red drop capitals that open each chapter and were individually drawn by Sam Weber to incorporate design elements from the story. That's a nice typographical touch, and it's good to see the 2-colour printing has survived the leap from the limited edition. Sam Weber has also provided a generous 20 illustrations, 8 in colour and 12 in black and white. They are painted in a realist style that will be familiar to anyone who has seen another Weber illustrated folio edition, such as Dune or Fahrenheit 451. The images have a dark, foreboding quality that suits the story well. Similar to other books illustrated by Weber, there's a particular focus on images of characters, and my personal preference would have been to have at least 1 or 2 wider vistas to help with world building. But there can be no doubting the quality of these illustrations, and that makes them a real highlight of this edition. Neil Gaiman has provided an introduction that should prepare readers well to appreciate the novels that are to follow. The Book of the New Sun is ostensibly a medieval fantasy tale filled with swords, citadels, and arcane guilds, but there are occasional hints that this medieval world in fact exists in a distant and decayed future. Indeed, the novels are full of latent themes, misdirection, and concealed hints that, to an attentive reader, peel back multiple layers of depth and hidden meaning. I think this is one of the main factors that animates the book's loyal following. You can spend years in internet forums discussing theories and arguing over interpretations, and the book should be felicitous to repeat readings. This is one of 3 big strengths of the work in my view. The other 2 are the quality of writing, literary, in a genre that's usually anything but, and the quality of world building, dark, gritty, and intensely original. All of the ingredients are therefore in place for a captivating science fiction epic whose appeal reaches beyond the narrow confines of the genre. All that said, I became disenchanted with the Book of the New Sun in its latter half, owing to a meandering and ultimately directionless plot. The initial setup seemingly paves the way for an epic adventure, but there's a lack of long-term motivation or goals for the protagonist that leaves him still wandering aimlessly around the world 400 pages after his apparent destination is reached. It's hard to avoid feeling that by this point, Wolfe is making it up as he goes along. This issue is compounded by the observation that most of the supporting cast we meet along the way play little role beyond facilitating another digression with no ultimate purpose. This was frustrating to me because it seemed like a straightforward reformulation of the plot would give it a satisfying narrative structure without having to sacrifice any of those ingredients that mark the book's potential. For this reason, I'd struggle to recommend the Book of the New Sun to all but a particular kind of reader, and they probably know about it already.